What's going on? Roll Tide. What's up, Alabama fans? Brandon Holmes here, one half of the Blue Bloods College GameTime podcast and YouTube channel. A podcast and YouTube channel for the fans, by the fans, dropping fresh college sports content every single day. But before we jump into today's video, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button below so you can stay up to date with our constant updates, especially my Alabama fans, as we're jumping in more into some Alabama coverage as we going forward through the offseason into the new season. Now, Alabama had a great year. Just came off second place finish, not winning the national championship game versus undeniably probably the greatest Georgia team that has ever stepped foot in Athens. And that's okay. But I say this, when someone's working hard, Nick Saban in Alabama is working harder. Now, Alabama did, though they had the number one, the best quarterback in the country, we believe, because he won the Heisman Trophy in Bryce Young. The one thing that was kind of lacking, not because of talent, but it was just kind of lacking, was the rushing game. Well, Nick Saban figured out, I know how to fix that. They lost former offensive line coach Doug Marrone, as he's going back to the NFL. And here comes Mr. Eric Wolford from the University of Kentucky to replace him. Now, I think this is a great hire. Great hire by Alabama here, right? Kentucky finished 5th in the SEC this year in rushing, averaging 199 yards a game. Now, people might come to me and say, Brandon, well, that's 5th. I believe Bama finished like 7th, 8th, maybe 9th, but I think like 8th. And people might say, is that really that big of a hire? I say yes. And here's why I say that. Listen, Wolford's coming from Kentucky, which, as we know, is not an SEC perennial powerhouse. I mean, they've had recent success with Stoops, but we know they're working with a smaller basin of talent. They're working with not as many studs on their team. And to be able to produce a top 5 running program in arguably the hardest conference in college football, well, I think that's good, especially for the talent that they do have compared to the Georgias and the Alabamas of the world. And so when you bring an offensive line coach like that had Kentucky number 5, I wonder what he can do down there in Tuscaloosa when you have the parade All-Americans, when you have a surplus of 5-star and 4-star kids, when you have the resources to go pluck anybody out of the transfer portal if you don't have it right there. I mean, Alabama practically sells itself, and Alabama has never been short on having talented offensive linemen. So I think this is a great hire as they're getting ready to reload to go on their 2022 mission of winning a national title. I think they're my favorites right now, Alabama, just because of who they bring back on defense, but as well as they bring back the reigning Heisman Trophy candidate. And now if you get an offensive line that can kind of move the football, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Saban has converted to more of a spread, but he's still about pounding the rock. He loves to run the football. And if you can get an offensive line that can get them back into the top 5 of the conference, they don't even have to be top 3. I believe if you give them to the top 5 of the conference, it loosens up some of that coverage for them, and they can go ahead and make them pay. You saw what Bryce Young was able to do with not a stellar run game. Now imagine if you get a very mediocre run game to just being good, just being top 5 in the conference. I think Alabama becomes a team that you don't want to see in the future. So big hire for Alabama, big hire for Nick Saban. I don't know what his recruiting chops really bring, but the fact is we know he knows how to put together offensive line that finished top 5 in the SEC with a lack of talent per se. I'm not saying the kids from Kentucky aren't talented. We just know they're not on the same talent level as what Alabama has. And so I'm interested to see what that transpires to on the field this year in Tuscaloosa. Well, Roll Tide fans, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for joining us once again. Brandon Holmes, one half of the Blue Bloods College GameTime podcast and YouTube channel, plays for the fans, by the fans, dropping fresh college sports content every day. Have a great night. Peace.